welcome back to What the Film, your favorite movie podcast, obviously. Because we're just so huge, right? I'm your host, Logan Thompson, joined as always by
Ethan Kaufman, co-host. Hey, hi, hello, everybody.
And today we're doing our personally much anticipated July movie auction. So this is something that we started up with our previous podcast for our school at the college, Popcorn Premieres. And for Popcorn Premieres, we did this thing for the month of April where we auctioned for those films and then had a way of ranking them and rating them in like a point system essentially, so that way at the end of the month there was like an actual winner. This personally was an idea that I had, inspired by this podcast I listened to called The Big Picture. But
Sean Fennessy, what's up?
Sean Fennessy, I love Sean Fennessy.
We love
He's
you.
Awesome Ithaca alumni. And so they like to do like these auctions of full years, and then people just like vote on Twitter, I think. So I wanted to do something similar but different enough where I didn't feel like I was fully copying them, because that's just not great.
Of course.
So hopefully this doesn't feel like we're fully copying The Big Picture if you listen to The Big Picture.
Only a little bit. It's like half plagiarism.
Yeah, I'd say it's like 50% plagiarism. Anyways, do you want to dive in to this auction?
I mean, I feel like I should explain how our system works.
You know
so
what?
That people actually know
you're the guy
how
that
this
runs
goes.
Okay.
I am the guy that runs this incredibly bad, flawed system that we just worked on 5 minutes ago. It's still in the works.
It is still in the works. It's going to be in the works probably before every single auction. So Ethan, you take it away.
So the way this auction works, we've got 10 movies that are coming out in this lovely month of July. And we're going to go through them in release order, and we are bidding on them. We have $100 each, which works out to $20 per movie on average. We each have to have 5 movies for some reason. That's Logan's rule. I don't know. We are able to pass on a movie if we don't want to bid on it, and then it gets moved to the second round, which is probably just going to end up being movies we don't care for when we're like down to our last bucks and just need to fill those last couple slots. And after we have our 5 movies, we then, at our own discretion, rank them from 1 to 5 based on how heavily we want them to be weighted with the algorithm, the system, my beautiful brainchild. He's ugly, but we love him anyway. Mm-hmm. The way that we determine who wins the auction, it's a best of 3. Round 1 is audience score. We find the average rating on Letterboxd and the average rating on IMDb. Letterboxd is rated twice as much because it's just better. And then we use the weighting on each film ranked 1 to 5. The top movie is weighted twice as much as the bottom movie. Everything in between is kind of adjusted accordingly. And so whoever has the highest average rating across Letterboxd and IMDb wins that round. The second round is box office, which is less box office and more how it compares to projections. Because just because a movie makes $100 million doesn't mean it was successful if it was supposed to make $150 million. So we use opening weekend projections on the numbers, and we essentially just compare percentage-wise how much did the movie make compared to what it was supposed to make. Here you might get a couple caveats where if a movie is coming out exclusively on streaming, we don't count it. It's a 0. If a movie is so small and in so few theaters that the numbers just doesn't do a projection on it, same thing. And so basically for round 2, whoever's slate does best compared to how it was supposed to perform, they win the box office round. And then round 3 is you guys picking who's better. We're going to put out a poll on the Instagram for this podcast, as well as polls on our own personal Instagram accounts. Each of those polls will have a 33% stake in the overall result. Just whoever's slate gets the more votes, they win.
Yeah.
And whoever wins the most of these 3 rounds, they win.
Mm-hmm. So technically you could vote on all 3, and then you have a huge factor in how this happens.
And I will.
Yep. So go for that, people.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm so exhausted from
explaining
that I now need a minute before I actually delve into this.
Okay. Well, for that little break you get, we're gonna random number generate. I'll say you're 1, I'm 2 for
Sure.
who gets to go first. I go first.
All
Number
right.
2. All
All
right.
right.
So our first
Are
movie,
we should just recap all the movies.
yes,
Probably,
we
I
should.
think.
Okay, so we're gonna be auctioning these off in release order. Despicable Me 4, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, Maxine, Fly Me to the Moon, Lawn Legs, Sing Sing, My Spy, The Eternal City, which I'm putting $100 on, just so you know.
Absolutely.
Twisters, Deadpool and Wolverine, and then finally Dee Dee.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put a solid $10 on Despicable Me 4.
You're gonna put $10 on Despicable Me 4. You want this for the audience, Paul?
I don't know. Do I?
I think you do. I think you want to put it in your top 3 so people can see it and be like, "Ooh, Minions." I'm gonna put $12 on it.
I'll put 13.
I'll put 16. People are gonna see this.
Yeah, people are gonna see this. 17.
You can have it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Despicable Me 4 for $dollars.
Did you want that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted Despicable Me 4.
Do you consider this a bargain then?
I would.
Okay.
I'd say
How
that this
how
is a
high
movie.
how high could I have gotten you to?
I don't think you would have gotten me past 17.
Okay.
If this was like May, I think you would have gotten me to
Then
30.
probably. Wow, okay. I didn't want it. I was very scared that I was going to be hiking you up too much.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, next one is Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F.
And I'm going first on this.
Yes.
I mean, I could pass.
You could pass.
I think I'm gonna, just because there's no reason not to pass yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put $1 on it and take it.
For those who didn't listen to our past auction, I had this really bad tendency of filling out all 5 of my spots very early, and then I got stuck with movies that I didn't want, and Logan got some good ones. And I'm trying to not repeat that failure.
That's
We'll see.
fair. We'll see how this goes. Well, anywho, next up is Maxine.
You're going first.
$5.
$30.
You can have it.
Okay. All right.
How high would you have gone on that?
Not much higher,
Yeah, I was kind of I was guessing.
but I did really want it.
Yeah, I
I feel
figured.
good about that.
I honestly assumed that you were going to go really high, so I personally didn't want it too much.
How high would you have gone? Like if I'd said 25, would I have still gotten it?
Yeah, probably.
Damn it.
Or maybe I would have said like 26. I think I could have gotten
Okay.
you up to 30, but I did not want it.
I was planning on going up to 30, and I didn't know if you were going to. I thought you were going to be higher on it, though. I guess not.
No.
Oh.
I'm personally very excited for it.
Me too,
I just
yeah.
don't know how well it's going to play for the points in the auction. I'm playing to win
I
right
feel
now.
like other than box office, I think it's going to do well. Because like even on like an IMDb, comparing it to something like Pearl, I feel like it's going to be more well received.
Yeah,
Maybe
but in
that's just
terms,
me.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You could have gotten a really big
We'll
one there.
see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up is Fly Me to the Moon. So Ethan, you get to bid first.
I'll abstain for now.
I'll put $1 on it.
You would put $1 on it. You can have it.
Okay.
You have more money, but you have fewer spots. Will this help or hurt me? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm nervous.
Okay. Well, next
All
up
right.
is Lawn Legs. I go first on Lawn Legs.
Yeah, you do.
$10.
15.
You can have it.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
How would you have gone on that?
I would have gone much higher, but I thought you were
Oh,
going to go
really?
much higher. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm stunned by that. I am regretting this actually now.
All right. Next up is Sing Sing.
10.
You can have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That has a 4.1 on Letterboxd. Are you sure?
I know.
All right.
Yes, you can have it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass on My Spy: The Eternal City.
Awesome.
Do you want it?
I mean, no.
Okay. So
I feel like I'm winning out here.
Goes to round 2. I mean, we'll see. All right, Twisters.
Twisters. I'm going first on this one?
Yeah, you are.
No, you are.
No, because I said I'm passing on My Spy the Eternal City.
I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind me. I'll see what you do. I'm going to pass for now.
15. I don't know.
Let me think about this for a second.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming we're both kind of saving up for one. Is it a make or break whoever gets Deadpool and Wolverine? I don't know. I don't think so.
You have a really good 3.
I have a really solid 3. I love this 3.
Yeah.
Like, this personally, for me, is my top 3, I think. How much are you putting on it?
I said 15.
You said 15.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm feeling.
And you'd only be down to 1 slot left. I'm going to let you have it.
Next up, you get the bid first, is Deadpool and Wolverine.
$1, Bob. You're going to bid 46 and take it.
Well, how much is the rest of my money?
You have 81. So if you
no, because it's not 81 because of 15. 32, 34, 70, 66.
81 minus
I'm putting
15.
66.
You're down to 66.
Yeah, I'm putting Deadpool for 66.
You would, okay.
Yeah. I have no more dollars left.
You have no more dollars.
Meaning that you get DD in My Spy the Eternal City.
I will take it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, how are we feeling? I got everything I wanted.
Really?
All 5. I wanted all 5.
Those were the 5 you wanted.
Yep, that was my top 5 for the auction.
Wow. All right.
I'm feeling really good. I had to play poker face so hard for Twisters. I'm more excited for Twisters for the auction than Deadpool.
I'm super excited for Twisters for the auction, but I didn't want it because I am thinking about putting together a 5 that for sure win the first round, which is Letterboxd and IMDb. I think I totally have you on that.
You totally have me on that.
There is no chance you win there.
I have you on Box Office.
I would bet that you do. I think
I have you on Audience Poll.
You might. It depends on who's voting.
Yeah, I think the issue is that what you have are some really niche films. Yeah. Maxine's bigger, but Longlegs and Sing Sing being your 2 and 3 in whatever order you put them in, I think is really niche, where yes, you will 100% win over certain people because of that. But I think like I've won over the more casual viewers, and I think I have these quadrants of big tentpole superhero movie, fun kid movie with minions, Twisters for the more like gritty, like cooler feeling kind of people, the kind of people that we know who will probably be voting for Trump. That's who Twisters will help me win over.
You've got the 3 tentpole blockbusters. You have a very nice variety.
Mm-hmm.
I think, at least with who is voting on these, because the people that are listening to a movie podcast are the people who know what these are.
Yes.
I think I might have it. It's going to be close.
It's going to be close.
And I think this is a fun one where I definitely have you on one round. I think you definitely have me on another. And it's going to come down to the votes. But we'll see.
Yes. Also, I think what's going to be interesting is how good are these movies really going to be? I think we know that Despicable Me is going to be fine. It's going to be like a solid 2.7 or something like that on Letterboxd. Like, it's going to be fine. But then, like, I'd say if Twisters and Deadpool both end up being really good, people, even film lovers, might weigh those higher than Maxine, Longlegs, and Sing Sing, which are all going to be really good.
I agree.
They're just more rewatchable.
I think Sing Sing being over a 4 on Letterboxd, I think I feel very good about. Even one of like my smaller picks, like Dee Dee has a 3.9 right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because like I'm trying to stop thinking about the ratings though, because I need to think about that when I rank these from 1 to 5, because I'm already winning on that round, so I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I need to like.
So, let's do our rankings right now. Before we move on to our other bit.
I want to keep talking though. I want to keep yapping for a bit. Yeah.
All right, keep ranking.
I think it's really going to depend on Deadpool and Wolverine, because I think box office projections for it are going to be insane, especially after Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
there is a world where it makes a lot of money and makes a huge profit, but just because projections are so crazy, it might hurt you a bit. And I think a lot of these, I think like, because the numbers might not have like one, maybe even two. It's probably going to have, yeah, three or four. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are enough niche good movies. Like if it was just two of them, I'd be worried. But I think it's like I have three I feel really great on.
You do have three amazing movies. Like three
Like I
that
have
are gonna
more.
be
I have
really
more
good.
movies that I'm really excited I have than
Yeah,
I
I
thought I
like
was going to.
that's good. For me, I'm more excited about what I have for the auction, but I'm more excited like if I had to pick between watching the movies on your list and the movies on mine, I'd watch the movies on yours.
Yeah, easily.
But then beg to swap out Twisters with My Spy.
Right.
Yeah. I think Twisters might be my most anticipated movie of the month.
Really.
Yeah.
I there was something about
Long Legs or
seeing the
Twisters?
there was something about seeing the Twisters trailer, the second trailer,
Uh-huh.
before the bike riders that dragged my excitement down a little bit. And
Really?
I'm still really excited for it, but I think the choice of music and the really really bad VFX shot that they hold on near the end. I don't know if it's going to be as heavy a hitter for this as you want it to be. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Well, I
All
did my
right.
rankings while you were talking.
Explain your ranking.
All right. You can work on yours while I explain. So
Yeah.
my number one is obvious. I think anybody would have put this as their number one, that being Deadpool. You want the audience to be able to see that as the top thing on your list. It's Deadpool. It's going to be the biggest movie of July. Like I would just assume. I had to get my IMAX ticket like over a month in advance, and when I got that ticket, most of the theater was sold out. Did not have that
Crazy.
with Inside Out 2. And this is also a Thursday. Inside Out 2, I got the day before in a Dolby, the theaters that are more sought out than IMAX's from what I've seen, and got really good seats and two tickets. I got one seat where if I wanted to get like two seats, I don't think I could have gotten that in my IMAX theater. And it's in a decent row, but kind of in the corner. So yeah, like I'm feeling good about Deadpool in terms of how popular it's going to be in terms of its box office just because of pre-sales alone. And also that's how Marvel movies always are. Their opening weekends are so front loaded and then they just don't hold as well. And in terms of how we rate this, it's all about the opening weekend. I think Twisters is going to be sort of a quality, type of blockbuster. It has a really solid director behind it. People that have gotten to see it early have said some amazing things about the movie. I mean, the fact of the matter is that they're showing some early access screenings this early to people. And they're also doing this early access thing on the Wednesday before it comes out where you could see it in a Dolby or you could see it in IMAX with a Q&A afterwards. It's like a virtual Q&A. So they're doing a lot for this film. And I feel like if you're having a Q&A at the end of the movie, that means that they have faith in the fact that it's actually a good movie. And I haven't yet really seen Glenn Powell in a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling good about that. Despicable Me 4 is my
He's
number
also
3.
just always good. Like even if the movie isn't, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's so good, and I think he's gonna be great here. I'm also excited for Daisy Edgar Jones and Anthony Ramos. I'm a big fan of the two of them as well. Despicable Me 4 is my number 3. I think that it's Despicable Me. It's minions who are gonna have superpowers.
Sure.
And then number 4 is Fly Me to the Moon. This is kind of a pick because I think it's going to be fine with box office. I think it'll kind of maybe barely go over or barely go under. And I think on Letterboxd, it'll probably have somewhere around a 3, but it's going to be the kind of thing where it's Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, two pretty big stars at the moment. I think if people are a big fan of stars, they could see them on the audience poll and be like, I know those people. Let me vote for this movie. And then finally is Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, I picked it because I like having a movie that doesn't rely on the box office, having that solid, like, even type of film. Um, and that's mostly why I picked it. I also just feel better about it than My Spy because it's essentially between that and My Spy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a Beverly Hills Cop movie. I liked the first one quite a bit, so maybe this one could be solid. Also, I think Eddie Murphy is just bigger than Dave Bautista, so yeah.
That being said, though, I forget what the name of it was, but there was a trailer I got for another Dave Bautista action movie before Bike Riders. I had never heard of this before.
It looks good. I've seen it.
It was the funniest thing.
Yeah, I think it's called The Killer's Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about. I'm
Silliest
kind of excited
concept
for
a movie ever. I love it.
And I think it could actually be decent because it's a Lionsgate action movie, and like they did John Wick. So yeah. All right. Well, you just did your rankings, so let's hear the rundown.
And I was conned. I'm angry. I'm very angry with you right now. Sing Sing does not have a wide release until August. It shouldn't even be here.
Oh well, so
that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I think what we do then, hear me out. I think what we do to give me a fair shot at the least is we don't actually do the polls until like after a week or two that they have been out wide. Because
how about after a week? Because I'd say if it's over, like the people that are going to see this movie will see those movies. Will see them in the first week because they're excited,
probably,
and see that they're coming out in July and get excited for them to come out in July, but then get annoyed because it's coming out in August, but these are going to be really good, so we're going to see them anyways. You know.
But I mean? With Sing Sing, limited release is July 12th, so it's not just like a Kinds of Kindness sort of limited 1 week wide the next. There's a big wait.
Well, it's going to get bigger and bigger too, which is the other thing. Like Sing Sing, it's going to ramp up like Poor Things did. Like Poor Things, most people saw Poor Things when they wanted to, like in December. It was in like over 400 theaters at that point. So if you want to see Poor Things really badly, you could drive half an hour and go see it.
Okay.
But like in Sing Sing is going to be the same way probably, where it'll be in a few hundred theaters and then just pick up once it's August and the movie slate.
I think we wait until all of these have been out for like a week.
Okay.
And so like first week of August we run it.
Okay. Sounds good.
That being said, I actually think that helps me because I think it will then be more time since some of your other movies. And I think with recency bias that might help me. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. I feel okay about this. I don't feel as amazing as you, but I don't feel bad about this.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable way to feel.
Yeah. My number one is Maxine, which like out of my kind of big three niche really good movies I'm really excited for is the one that like wider audiences are going to be going to see. Mm-hmm. And I think it hits the spot of like it's A24, so it's your A24 people, but it's also, at least from the trailer, kind of being marketed as like bigger than your old summer independent film. I think you are going to have people who go see it outside of that crowd. We'll see what they think of it. I'm feeling good about it. And I think it's a very good name for me to have as my number one that's sort of representative of my whole rest of the list, kind of like what you did. I was going to put Sing Sing at number 2, but because of the release date and because even though it has a 4.1 on Letterboxd, I'm winning that round regardless, so I don't really think I need to factor that in as much. So
it depends on how bad My Spy is. What if My Spy is the worst movie of all time?
My Spy's at 5. It's not affecting me right now. No one looks at the number 5, Logan. You need to understand
what if it weighs down the Letterboxd poll so hard?
Huh?
Like, what if it weighs down the Letterboxd average? Like, really
what,
hard?
Sing Sing not being in the top 2?
No, like My Spy just being on your list.
I don't think Beverly Hills Cop is going to be in the upper 3s or anything.
What if it
I don't
is?
think I have to worry. I don't think I have to worry about that. I don't
What
think
if
Fly Me to
Despicable
the
Me 4
Moon
is a
or
4-star
Despicable
movie?
Me 4 are cracking like 3.5, 3.6 tops. Twisters, I don't think is going to be up there.
I think Twisters could be up there. I think
I think
Twisters
Twisters
has
is
Top
going
Gun
to.
Maverick potential.
I'm
And how
looking
people
at
see
like
it.
I'm comparing it to the other really fun, good Glenn Powell movie we got, which is Hitman, which has already now fallen to a 3.5. Somehow, stupid people, please, that should be higher. But yeah, I have Longlegs too. I think people are going to talk about it. I think it's going to be a very good like word of mouth success, and I'm worried having it, especially it and Maxine both in the top two, because as we have seen, at least with this year, horror movies are not great at doing better than box office projections. But we'll see.
We will.
We'll see.
But
I think I'm worried about it more as like the audience poll than box office. I think you're winning box office. I don't think I'd like need to be worried about trying to win that. Sing Sing I have at 3. It's, big Oscar contender. People are gonna love it. And if people have seen it by the time voting comes around, I think they'll vote for it. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
For those who have seen it.
Of course. You also might get your like film schmuck who hasn't seen it but knows that they should vote for it and then do anyway regardless. And True. I hate those people. I don't support them. But if they're going to help me win the auction, props to them.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I have Dee at 4. I think nobody is going to see it, so I do have it crammed at 4. But, it looks good. It sounds good. Yeah. And then My Spy at 5, which is my obligatory bad movie that we shouldn't even have on here, but we wanted one to have me avoid it. I couldn't, so here it is.
Yeah. Well, we needed My Spy on here because we needed 10 movies. I had 9, and then I was like, what can be number 10? And My Spy felt like the biggest one.
There's gotta be like another movie or two coming out this month, because like...
No, not really.
Really? Because you have My Spy, we have Beverly Hills Cop Axel F., and then we have 2 movies that don't have a wide release until next month.
Well, those movies, Sing 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 Sing. I felt like I had to be on here just because of how big it is Oscar-wise. But really, like, if you look at the weekends, it's essentially Despicable Me 4 and Maxine. There's 4 weekends for July. Yeah. Despicable Me 4, Maxine, then Fly Me to the Moon and Longlegs, Twisters, Deadpool. Those are the 4 weekends. And Beverly Hills Cop comes out during the Despicable Me weekend. Sing Sing and Dee Dee. Sing Sing's limited during the Longlegs weekend, and then Dee Dee is limited during the Deadpool weekend. And I think My Spy comes out during the Twisters weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like there's essentially weekends sectioned off for 2 films where nobody wanted to release a film those weekends for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
I'm feeling all right about this.
I'm feeling all right, too.
I think I have you beat on one round, and I think you have an advantage in the other 2, but it's not over for me.
No. I don't think it's over for either of us. I think it's going to be... I think this might be the closer than April.
This is going to be
fun.
April,
you kind of destroyed me. Yeah.
I'm excited to enter numbers into my spreadsheet and see how this shifts throughout the month.
I'm excited for you to tell me how it shifts throughout the month.
Because you don't look at it, do you?
No, I do every so often. But it's harder for me to understand.
It's a lot of boxes and a lot of numbers.
Yes. Well, I think we should shift to our other fun thing that we came up with right before we started the episode, which is underrated movies of the decade. We are halfway through the 2020s, so I think we each picked 5 movies for each year to represent the underrated movie of that year.
Yeah.
So we'll start with 2020, make our way up. I guess. Do you want to go first?
I mean, I'll go first. Disclaimer: there are like 5 movies I could have picked for any of these years. So like, again, the structure of the game is kind of weird in that it only really allows me to talk about one per year.
I mean, you could shout out other ones.
I think
we should do that. Let's shout out other ones. Like, not talk about them, but like be like a shout out.
Let me pull up Letterboxd then.
Yeah, I'm pulling up Letterboxd now too.
So I can like have it for reference.
Yeah, just as like honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Because like I think that's fine to have honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And so I think it felt like we both kind of graded it in different ways where you try to go for more niche films that just not a lot of people have seen, but then maybe more people still liked. I went for films that a lot of people might have seen. I have 2 movies where over 1 million people have watched them on Letterboxd, but the caveat is that I just happen to like them a lot more than the average of those 1 million people. Where one of them is like a 3.1, and then I gave it a 4.5, and the other is a 3.4, and I gave it a 4.
Okay.
So yeah.
Everything that I have is already highly rated, but nothing has more than 500,000 watches. So that was sort of a metric I used.
There you go. So 2 little different metrics, but I think we both are trying to get the same point across, in that these are films that have come out pretty recently that we think are pretty good, that you maybe haven't seen, or maybe when you initially saw it, you didn't like it too much and should go and watch or rewatch. It's kind of the point. All right. Well, do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My underrated movie of 2020, there were a couple I was going through. Little Fish, which nobody has seen ever. That's not what it is, but that's an honorable mention. I was thinking Zola, A24, really fun, really good, but didn't pick it either. What I ended up going with was Shithouse, which is the debut from Cooper Raiff, who is the writer, director, and lead actor in Cha Cha Real Smooth, which came out a couple years ago, and gained more traction than this.
Mm-hmm.
This is his better movie. I don't know. That's just me. And nobody has seen it.
I need to see it. I want to.
It's a really compelling drama. It takes place of like a freshman in college and the relationship he forms with his RA, his roommate, his mom back home. And the structure of it's really cool. Like the first half, maybe a little more, is essentially just like kind of before sunrise, but it's college. Yeah. And it's just cool and it's good vibes. And then the second half is just maybe a more standard but really good drama. And I loved it when I first saw it. I recently rewatched it, and now being in college was terribly relatable in like an evil way. But still love it. And nobody has watched it. Nobody's even heard of it. And you should watch it because it's really good. Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check it out. Yeah, it's something that I've wanted to see, because I did see Cooper Raiff's other film, and I was like, what else has this guy made? And I saw that, and I was like, I should go and see this, and I just haven't seen it yet. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, my one honorable mention that I want to shout out for 2020 before I get into my actual pick is Birds of Prey. Okay. Birds of Prey. A lot of you might have seen it, but you know, it's not looked at too favorably on Letterboxd at the moment. It has a 3.0 even. Ooh. I thought that this was a really fun film with some really fun moments. I think Margot Robbie is an amazing Harley Quinn, and I'd love to have her back in the DCEU, even though she probably will never come back as Harley in the DCEU, or whatever James Gunn's trying to call it now. And the action here is really good. Yeah. Really good action. So yeah, that's really my biggest reason. Really good action. And I feel like in general, for me, if there's a film that has some genuinely like very impressive action, I want to give it that credit. And I think that Birds of Prey totally deserves it. My actual pick, however, is Devil All the Time. I remember being very excited for this film going into it. I think it was my most anticipated movie of 2020, like overall. And it was everything I wanted it to be and more, personally. And I was surprised when I saw that, you know, it's not looked at as favorably as I wish it was, where the average is a 3.3 on Letterboxd. I think Tom Holland is amazing in this film. I think this is one of his best performances. Robert Pattinson has a really goofy accent but gives a great performance. Riley Keough is a standout. Jason Clarke is great. Sebastian Stan, just a really, really good cast. This is a star-studded film. And I personally just had such a good time with it and really need to rewatch it at some point soon. So yeah, that is my underrated movie for 2020.
It's so underrated that I haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. Unlike the 500,000 people who have.
Awesome.
All right. Well, what do you got for 2021?
2021. This was a tough one. I have a lot for 2021.
Okay, let's.
And I didn't know which one to pick. On one hand, Malcolm and Marie. I hate Sam Levinson, but like I've always been a Euphoria fan, and this is a really good kind of acting showcase for Zendaya and John David Washington. It's just
Mhm.
an hour and 40 minutes of them having an argument in real
Yeah.
time, and they're both really good, but I didn't pick it.
Okay.
There is Nightmare Alley, which a lot of people saw when it like was getting its Oscar traction, but a lot of people didn't love it. I really liked it. I thought it was cool. Guillermo del Toro, cool, good vibes. You know, Bradley Cooper, con man, epic. But I didn't pick it.
Mhm.
And then the one that I was very close to picking was Annette, which is this surrealist musical starring Adam Driver about a baby. Sparks does the music. It's wild. It makes no sense. I love it. But I ended up picking Mass, which
Okay.
yes, which our mutual boy Brady Dilger and I had a lovely 2 minute discussion on. No one
A
else
lovely
has seen.
2-minute discussion.
No one else has seen this. It is a very intense drama that is essentially two
Mhm.
couples meeting up and just talking about a thing that happened, a very bad, violent thing. And because of who these two couples are, their relations to this event are very different from each other. And there's a lot of really great drama that comes out of that. The director is that one guy from Cabin in the Woods and Diary of the Wimpy Kid 2, like the stoner guy. He just
Uh-huh.
wrote and directed this for some reason, and it's amazing. I don't know. Yeah, Jason Isaacs is in it, and Dowd is in it. It's awesome. Watch it. It'll make you really upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, well, so for me, I went with a very different approach. You went
Okay.
with some very interesting movies. I went with more blockbustery type of movies, I guess you
Oh
could
dear.
say.
Dear.
My honorable mentions are Spiral from the Book of Saw.
What's a
I'm not
Book of
gonna
Saw?
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Spiral is a good movie. But this was the first movie I watched in a theater after the pandemic.
Okay.
So I have some personal bias towards this film for getting me back in the movie theater. And my second one, or actually I should explain Spiral a little more probably because it still seems a little out of nowhere. You know, the fast-paced editing and just fast pace of the whole film allows for the bad aspects of the film to, I think, fly by a little more. So you really just kind of get to appreciate the mystery and horror elements, I think, a little more, despite the fact that there's certain plot holes and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, if you just kind of want a good movie where you can turn your brain off, I would say that Spiral fits that bill. My other is the Snyder Cut.
Okay.
Just because I think it's better than people give it raps for. I'm not going to say that it's the greatest thing in the world because I disagree with that sentiment. But I think the Snyder Cut is a insane improvement on the Justice League, and I think you can look at the scene by scene editing of that film versus the Justice League and see just so much improvement. And I do think it's just a much more enjoyable film overall. So I wanted to shout that out. My actual pick is Malignant.
Let's go!
Malignant is one of my favorite horror movies of the decade so far. I love this film. This film got me like just into James Wan, where anytime I hear that there's a movie associated with James Wan, I was like, I need to see that movie. Malignant is very campy, which I think is why some people give it a bad rap because it only has a 3.1 on Letterboxd. But that score goes so hard, and that cinematography is insane. The cinematography is so good in Malignant. And really, for those two reasons alone, being miles better than what you'd expect from any horror movie, I loved it. In general, the story is fine. The plot twist is fun and kind of goofy. But the cinematography and score turn it from this kind of run-of-the-mill campy horror movie to a horror movie that goes so unbelievably hard, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome.
And you seem to agree.
I do. I'm also now realizing I should have said something about Tenet for 2020, which was my first movie that I saw in a theater post-shutdown, which for 10 seconds I'll just say, it's good. Shut up. It's amazing. Rewatch it. Didn't understand it? Great. Go rewatch it. I've seen it like 4 times. I still don't get most of it. Look. Feel it, okay? Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
Feel it.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's what the French girl from the Harry Potter movie says in the beginning. You just gotta vibe to it. It's vibes. Moving on. 2022.
So the French girl says you just got to vibe to it in Harry Potter?
No, the girl from Harry Potter, the French person from the Triwizard Tournament, is in Tenet as a scientist
Oh,
at the beginning.
right. She
And
is.
yeah. That's all. Okay, moving on. Just had to get that out of my system.
Okay. I'm glad that you got that out of your system.
22 was a tough year because it is the only year where I've seen more than 100 movies from it.
Oh, wow.
So like there were a lot of things I could have gone with. Yeah, Bros was really great. Was a studio comedy that nobody saw that was really funny. And it put a big spotlight on LGBTQ plus stories in like a fun way that I think people who aren't like itching to go see movies like that can still get on board with and have a good time with, which I really appreciated. But the movie that I ended up picking here was my second favorite movie of the year and still is. It's RRR.
Okay.
Which
I don't think this is underrated, but go on.
I don't think it's underrated, but I think there's a lot of people who just haven't seen it. I think everyone like kind of in our circle at the least knows about it, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I still haven't seen it. I don't know. And for that reason, I did justify putting it here.
Okay.
It is a 3-hour action blockbuster, historical drama, bromance comedy, musical with romance, and it makes no sense, but a guy fights a tiger, a guy fights 1,000 people, and it's insane. And it's the greatest thing ever. And they re-released it at the beginning of 2023, and I saw it in a theater, and it was amazing. And it's crazy. And you should see it because it is the most fun that you will ever have watching a movie. And that's all I have to say about that.
Gotcha.
It's just the best.
Well, I got some very different films than you do, but I do love this movie. I love RRR so much. It is my favorite movie of 2022 as a matter of fact.
Go.
So it's right up there for me in this like huge upper echelon top 4 of Everything Everywhere, Decision to Leave, and Babylon. And RRR is on top of them all. So yeah, 2022 is a really good year. Like, oh my God. Because like after that, then it's like the Batman, Top Gun Maverick, Bones and All.
Like, I think it got buried by 2023 because 2023 was amazing, but like 2022 is also insane.
Yeah. So give credit to 2022.
Yeah.
Bros would also be an honorable mention of me, but because you put Bros there, I'm not also going to put Bros there. Right. I think Multiverse of Madness is my first one. And may or may not be the only Marvel movie I talk about from 2022. Just a really stylistic Marvel film, which I really appreciated. Something that has a true directorial vision. I feel like nobody else except Sam Raimi could have made Multiverse of Madness. It has some really fun, campy elements. The type of Marvel movie that I personally really appreciate and found very refreshing. Lightyear is also up here for me, one of the most hated on Pixar movies that I think is just a good time.
I mean, I'm part of
just
that,
a good, turn your brain off type of Pixar movie. And then the other one is the Matilda musical, which got released onto Netflix at the end of the year. Kind of flew under the radar a little bit. I just think that the dancing and the music goes so hard. I know I've been saying goes so hard a lot, but it does.
When it does, it does.
My actual underrated is Wakanda Forever.
All right.
I think that at first people saw this movie and they were like, this is great. But as time went on, things cooled down. Letterboxd average is a 3.4. I personally think this is a 4-star movie. I think that this is really solid. Letitia Wright's Shuri gets so much character development here that I think is amazing. It does a great job with the tragedy that it was given, and I think makes it just very believable in the world of Black Panther and understandable. And by the end of it, really had me rooting for Shuri as well as all the other characters. You also have Angela Bassett here giving such a good performance. Would have deserved Best Supporting Actress I think she was my personal number 2 behind Stephanie Sue, who really deserved it.
Yeah.
And then also I thought Tenocuerta Mejia, I'm definitely butchering
Sure.
that, who plays Namor, is really good. Winston Duke is good as always. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o is good. Everybody's good in this movie. And Ryan Coogler is such a good director, and some of these cinematic moments of this film, the first 15 minutes is maybe the most devastating filmmaking I've ever seen. I know a lot of that is because of the real life tragedy behind this film and Chadwick Boseman passing, but it just felt so raw and like something I've never seen before in a movie, let alone a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like I had to talk about this movie here.
Fair.
Yeah. So
I think the only reason I'm not so high on it is just because I'm down on Marvel as a whole, and like that's affected my opinion of the movie.
That's
to an
fair.
extent.
Yeah.
I think you should go first for 2023. I have too many honorable mentions, and I need you to take some of them from me.
Okay, well now
if you're okay with this.
My thing is that I didn't come up with the honorable mention idea until like before I had actual honorable mentions to share. So I've been like getting them.
Me too, but like just thinking about it over the last minute, I have too many.
You see, I haven't had a chance to think about it yet. So I'm just going to run through my 2023 list then and see which things I think are honorable mentions.
Do you want me to go first then, so I can give you some more time to come up with them?
Maybe you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna do 2 honorable mentions. Yeah. Wait, no. I'm just gonna do them until I'm done doing them. 2023. First honorable mention, I think, is like the underrated movie of 2023 is the one that everyone says, I think, Blackberry, which I didn't get around to until I was doing my end of year list. It's awesome. It's Succession with phones. That's so cool.
It is so cool.
Like Glenn Howerton's performance is amazing. He goes crazy, and I just love this. And more people should watch it because it was only people calling it the most underrated movie of the year that made me watch it. So I'm hoping just spreading that further will help. Another really underrated movie, Scream 6, which I think is easily the best Scream movie since the original. As a fan of the franchise, because like I'm not such a Scream fan. Like I don't go crazy for it, but when it's good, it's really good. Like I have the first one at 5 stars, and this, as a fan of the Scream franchise, gave me more than everything that I wanted out of it. I think it builds on the new characters from Scream 5 really well, where like a lot of characters I didn't really care about that much in the first of these reboots, just kind of like cannon fodder for Ghostface. Here I actually care about them and their relationships, which just makes it much more investing. Yeah. And then I'll shout out Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is really, really good coming of age movie that Rachel McAdams is amazing in.
So
and good. Yeah. My pick for 2023 is Beau is Afraid, which cracked my top 10 of the year and which was very divisive. And I'm sure cracks top 10s for other people. But when compared to Hereditary and Midsommar, which I do agree, out of Ari Aster's 3 movies, this is his weakest. But I don't think that it should be discounted the way that it is, where like people were arguing like, is he going to be thrown in director jail for this? Like, because it's not only did it not make money, people didn't like it. And I think it's really cool. I think it's like, it's this awesome 3-hour kind of surreal journey. The first hour is incredible. The play sequence is incredible. The ending is incredible. I think there are so many cool moments from it. Joaquin Phoenix is doing Joaquin Phoenix. He's great as always. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's like, it's weirdly unnerving. It's weird. It's not scary like Hereditary or Midsommar. It's just weird and off-putting. Yeah, go watch it. It's cool.
I also recommend that you go watch it. It is cool. Okay, I'm not even fully done with my honorable mentions for 2023 because I saw
there's just so many.
There's so many. Okay, well we can start. It Lives Inside. Really solid horror movie that has an average of a 2.5 on Letterboxd. I give it a 3.5. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was just scary. I found the scares to really work for me. I enjoyed, or I gave it a 3, but close to a 3.5. I know at one point I had it at a 3.5. I just thought it was a good horror movie, and I don't get why people dislike it so much. That very much confuses me. Joyride, a summer comedy that I feel like not enough people saw. I think it's the funniest movie of the year by far. The Boys in the Boat, I just found to be a really solid sports film. Not necessarily the greatest thing ever, but just a solid sports movie. Leave the World Behind. Why do people not like this movie as much as they do? I just feel like it's this Hitchcockian thriller that really shows some love to a director like Hitchcock, but also does its own thing enough where I think it's easy to really appreciate it. The creator, I just found the creator to show all of Gareth Edwards' director chops and be an absolute spectacle to really marvel at. And I liked it so much. Then I have one where it's more in the criteria of you, where I just feel like not enough people have seen it, that being Rye Lane. The people who have seen Rye Lane really like it, but not enough people have seen Rye Lane. It is, I think, the best rom-com to come out of the 2020s for sure. Maybe even longer than that. I just haven't seen enough rom-coms to know for certain. And my actual pick is Wonka.
Oh, it's Wonka.
I love Wonka. I've seen it. I saw it 3 times in theaters. Right? I cried every single time.
Oh man.
I found the music to be good. I think my boy Timmy C really knows how to work the vocals, I just think it's a good movie. I feel like just Paul King is in his bag in Wonka. Why do people hate on this movie so much? I do not understand, because it's delectable. It really is to me.
You're really playing into the Wonka-isms of this.
Calais Lane, who plays Noodle, Noodle Apple Strudel, fantastic. Keegan-Michael Key, Chief of Police, amazing. Hugh Grant is an Oompa Loompa. He's solid.
He's having Olivia the worst Colman, time of his life.
He is, but he's still solid. Olivia Colman as Mrs. Scrubbit. So good. There's also Bleacher, played by Tom Davis. Wonderful. And then Patterson Joseph, who plays Arthur Slugworth. He's so fun. All the evil chocolatiers are really fun. But just, gosh, I mean, how can you not be incredibly moved by the ending where Noodle reunites with her mom and, Willie gets his factory and there's just the bad CGI of that, and they have the song, and just I cry. I really do. And it's so beautiful and moving, and I love Wonka, and I'm not afraid to share it as I am right now. This is one of my favorite movies of my life.
Chocolate Cartel, Willy Wonk, scratch that, reverse it.
Yeah, it's in my top 4 favorites on Letterboxd right now. Yeah. Not as in it's my top 4 favorites, but there's certain movies that have been obsessions of mine.
Yeah, it's just,
and this is one of those.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah,
up there with Babylon, Cars, and then a movie that we might be talking about for 2024.
Nah, we're not talking about it. I didn't put it even as an honorable mention because I knew you were going to talk about it. So I needn't scratch that itch you're going to for me.
Well, I was going to go for a different one. And then thought that, maybe you wouldn't. So we'll see. You go first.
I'm deciding right now. I don't want to do an honorable mention for 2024. We're only halfway through the year. I've only seen 17 movies. A lot of them are either bad or good, and we know they're good and people have seen them. There really weren't that many options, at least for me, for an honorable mention. I picked The First Omen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick.
Yeah, figured. Yeah. Just really solid, surprisingly good horror movie, and I haven't seen Immaculate, so I'm not comparing it to that or anything. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only nun-baby horror movie released this year.
Well, even if you have seen Immaculate, I think you'd agree with me that it's significantly better. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just I didn't see this in theaters. I threw it on once it was on Hulu, and I expected to like it. You had been very high on it, and you saw it twice, right?
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Yeah, you saw it twice.
Yeah, I think so. Or no, I saw Monkey Man twice.
Okay. You were going to see this twice.
I was going to see it again. Yeah.
Yeah, but you had been very favorable on it. A lot of people whose opinions I respect were very high on it, and I put it on. It was really good. It was fun. It was like a very engaging hour and 40 or so, and it was just vibes. I like vibes. I don't know.
It was just vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. You know.
You gonna talk about the best movie ever made or what?
Well, I do have a lot of honorable mentions to get.
How many movies
first.
have you seen from this year?
I've seen 71.
Oh
or sorry,
my gosh.
72, including
That's
what
more
I've
than
seen
I saw last year.
Wow. Yeah, and we're not even halfway through the year yet.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be a lot of movies for me this year.
Oh
Anyways, so my honorable mentions go as follows. First one is this documentary called My Mercury. It is this nature type of documentary about the ocean and, you know, this nature conservationist in the ocean. 215 people have seen it. This is an A24 movie. One of the directors of this film is also a director of My Octopus Teacher.
I have seen part of that.
I have not seen all of My Octopus Teacher, but it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon to watch. Letterboxd is saying that's also on Netflix, so I don't know if it actually is on Netflix or not, but you can go and check. Yeah, I think it's a really solid documentary. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the best thing I've ever seen. I gave it 3 stars, but I just think more people should see it because it's decent. Next is this movie called Marmalade, which I only gave 3 stars. The average is 3.5. But another thing where only 9.6 thousand people have seen it. You can go and watch it on Hulu right now. It stars Joe Keery. Just a really solid crime thriller type of movie with a really good plot twist that I loved. So I recommend that. Also want to just shout out Mean Girls. You know, Mean Girls got a bad rap from some people, but I had fun with Mean Girls. Yeah, I had fun. Okay. And then also Lisa Frankenstein. That's my final shout out.
Which I still need to see. I really want.
Really good.
For
Zelda
you,
Williams.
I want to watch it.
What a directorial debut from Zelda Williams. What an amazing performance by Catherine Newton. Cole Sprouse is also really solid. I remember in my YouTube review, I kept calling him Cole Spouse. And then Steve Hale kept making fun of me for it because he was like, "Oh, are you married to Cole Sprouse?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I realized what he meant. So that was kind of funny. I was going to pick The First Omen, and then I began to realize that you were going to pick The First Omen. So I picked the best movie ever, The Beekeeper.
Woo!
Yeah. It's The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Go and watch this movie.
It is.
This movie has made me fall in love with Jason Statham. I now make sure to repost all of his Instagram posts.
You have been doing that. It's a lot.
It's amazing. Josh Hutcherson, you know, not to spoil the movie or to spoil the movie, so be careful if you want to see The Beekeeper. President's son, Josh Hutcherson. This movie just goes absolutely berserk for really no reason, and I love it. It is so fun. David Ayer is such a good director here. I mean, he makes the action look great. Like, that's not even a joke. That is just like, it looks good. The writer, Kurt Weimer, has not written the best films. I just think, you know, David Ayer made this one work really well.
It works.
It's so delicious.
It's just so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic, and all of you should go and see it. This is like the greatest movie ever made. I mean, I think
we memed this for like 4 months. One last shout out to the most underrated genre of movies, which is non-superhero action movies that are good.
Yes.
With 2 movies that are not underrated, but more people should just respect and go see. One is John Wick Chapter 4, which more people need to have the balls to say is one of the top 5 movies of last year, because it was. And then also, Furiosa. I have no choice but to call this underrated after the box office.
Yeah.
Go see it. Watch it. It's good.
Yes.
It's amazing. What are you doing?
It's
Go watch
really
it.
good. Yeah.
That's what I got to say. That's all.
Yeah. No, Furiosa. I did consider Furiosa for underrated. I really did.
It's like it's too big a name to be the pick, but like no one saw it apparently.
Yeah, something else I really considered for underrated that I want to shout out is Hundreds of Beavers.
You should have put that.
Let me
I
just
still haven't
give
seen
the
it.
summary.
Yeah.
In the 19th century, a drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating hundreds of beavers. It is so good. This like blend of practical and special effects is hilarious. All the animals in this film are played by people in costumes. Essentially, all the animals in this film are furries. But if you just more take it as an allegory of people wanting to make a film and wanting to make it as goofy as possible and have real people in the animal costumes to make the killing of a lot of animals not feel as cruel as it would be, which I think was more what they were going for.
Probably.
It works so well, and just
it sounds like
it's
just
black
a
and
big,
white. It's
goofy
it's
live
mostly a
action
silent
cartoon.
film. It's so goofy, and
Yeah.
I loved it. And yes, it can be a little one-dimensional sometimes, which is why I've lowered my 5 stars to 4 stars since watching it, just because it is very much kind of watching the same bit over and over again in different ways, but it works, and it does ramp up, and the stakes ramp up, and just like the effects and what you're seeing ramps up. And it is one of the movies that is like gonna be one of my most talked about movies when we do what we're doing next week for Friday, which is going to be our Midway Movie Awards. I'd say that's a pretty solid segue into that, wouldn't you?
Sure. That was smooth as hell. Oh my god.
Yeah, So yeah, next week we will be spending our Friday episode essentially doing, I guess, our quote unquote Oscars, but much less. Like for our Best Picture, we have 3 nominees. Because we just want to highlight our favorite stuff from the year. So I can name off the awards that we have listed right now, and then we also are coming up with our own special awards to do during the show. So the awards
I'll take care of the fun awards.
Okay, I came up with some of my own fun awards too.
All right.
I think maybe you could come up with some more fun awards for both of us to do.
We're gonna play with this in the next.
Yeah, we'll definitely play with this. But what we got so far is Best Picture, 3 nominees; Best Director, 3 nominees; Best Screenplay, 3 nominees; Lead Performance, 3 nominees; Supporting, 3 nominees; Most Technically Impressive, 3 nominees; Best Scene, 5 nominees; then Steamiest Scene, 1 nominee; Weirdest Casting, 1 nominee; Least Necessary Picture, 1; B-themed action flick, 1.
Yes. I wonder what your pick for best B-themed action flick is going to be. There's a whole slew you could pick from.
Oh yeah, there's really a whole slew of films I can pick from. Yeah, I mean,
there must be a second one out there that I can find and put. There's gotta be.
Just like draw some really like bad connection to.
No, if I scour the deep dark corners of Letterboxd, I guarantee you there is a second B-themed action movie from 2024.
You know what? I wish you good luck on your endeavors to do that, because you should work on that.
Yeah.
And see what you can come up with. We'll come up with some more words too to throw in here when we get to the time, but this is going to be fun. We're going to have fun with this. And going to talk about just good movies and performances and whatnot. It's going to be great. For
sure.
Yeah. So we will see you all then. Thank you very much for watching and listening to us ramble about movies for an hour of your time. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
And we will see you on Tuesday for the box office.
Bye-bye.
Bye.